How many more mornings will you wake up just to get through the day? Paying bills, meeting expectations, pretending you're fine, breathing but not truly living. Surviving is not living. Surviving is hiding. It's shrinking. It's negotiating with your potential. And let me tell you something uncomfortable. You were not designed to merely endure life. You were built to command it. Some of you have mastered survival. You know how to tolerate disappointment. You know how to swallow frustration. You know how to smile when everything inside you feels like it's collapsing. But surviving is a slow death of your greatness. It's choosing safety over significance. It's choosing comfort over conquest. Dominating your life doesn't mean controlling everything. It means controlling yourself, your discipline, your reactions, your standards, your decisions. It means you stop blaming your past, your parents, your boss, the economy, or your bad luck, and you start looking in the mirror and saying, from this moment forward, it's on me. Yes, life has hit you. Yes, you've been betrayed. Yes, you failed. Asikul is not your prison. It's your training ground. The pressure you feel is not there to crush you, it's there to reveal you. Stop surviving your circumstances. Start mastering your response. Because the day you take radical responsibility for your mindset, your habits, and your excuses, is the day your life stops happening to you and starts happening because of you. This is your wake-up call. You can keep surviving, or you can rise and dominate. The difference between surviving and dominating is not determined by your bank account, your background, your education, or even your current pain. It is determined by a decision. Survival mode is reactive. It wakes up each day asking, what do I need to endure today? It operates from fear, scarcity, and caution. It avoids risks, lower standards, and accepts mediocrity as a safe refuge. Dominating, on the other hand, is proactive. It asks, what can I build today? What can I improve? What can I conquer within myself? That shift is not circumstantial, it is intentional. Two people can face the same crisis, loss, rejection, financial hardship, and walk away with completely different futures. One chooses to shrink, to blame, to wait for rescue. The other chooses to grow, to adapt, to take ownership. The external situation may be identical, but the internal decision creates entirely different trajectories. Survival says, I hope things get better. Dominance says, I will get better. Survival waits for clarity. Dominance creates clarity through action. The moment you decide that excuses are no longer acceptable, that your standards will rise regardless of the environment, everything begins to shift. You stop negotiating with your potential. You stop asking for permission. You stop measuring your life by what happened to you and start measuring it by how you respond. Dominating your life is not about arrogance or control over others. It is about authority over your mindset, your habits, and your discipline. The true battlefield is internal, and the true victory begins the instant you decide you will no longer live at the mercy of your circumstances. There is a silent war happening inside you every single day. The battle between a victim mentality and an ownership mindset. A victim mentality constantly looks outward. It searches for someone to blame, something to criticize, or a circumstance to justify stagnation. It says, this happened to me, so this is why I can't move forward. It gives power to the past, to other people's opinions, to unfair systems, and to bad luck. On the surface, it feels comforting because it removes responsibility. But in reality, it also removes power. An ownership mindset is different. It does not deny pain, injustice, or difficulty. It simply refuses to let them dictate the future. Ownership says, yes, this happened. Now what am I going to do about it? It shifts the focus from fault to response. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? It asks, how can I grow through this? That shift may seem small, but it changes everything. Because the moment you own your response, you reclaim control. Victim thinking keeps you emotionally dependent on circumstances improving before you do. Ownership demands that you improve first. Victim mentality waits for motivation. Ownership builds discipline. Victim mentality magnifies obstacles. Ownership magnifies solutions. One keeps you stuck in reaction. The other moves you into creation. You cannot dominate your life while blaming your environment. Blame keeps you passive. Responsibility makes you powerful. When you choose ownership, you stop being a product of your history and start becoming the architect of your future. And that decision to take full responsibility for your choices, your attitude, and your standards is where real transformation begins. Pain is one of the most misunderstood forces in human development. Most people treat pain as an enemy, something to avoid, numb, escape. They see it as proof that something is wrong, as evidence that they should stop. But pain, when understood correctly, is not an obstacle to your growth. It is the raw material of it. The difference lies in how you interpret it. If you label pain as injustice, you will turn it into resentment. If you label pain as training, you will turn it into strength. Every setback carries information. Every rejection sharpens awareness. Every failure exposes a weakness that can be fortified. Pain highlights where you lack discipline, clarity, boundaries, or preparation. Instead of why does this hurt? Ask, what is this teaching me? That question transforms suffering into strategy. It forces you to extract value from discomfort rather than surrender to it. When you use pain as fuel, it becomes energy. It becomes focus. It becomes the fire that burns away excuses. The betrayal that once broke you can become the lesson that teaches you discernment. The loss that once devastated you can become the catalyst that pushes you to build something stronger. The humiliation that once embarrassed you can become the motivation that drives relentless improvement. Pain is not meant to define your identity. It is meant to refine your character. The gym of life does not build strength without resistance. Muscles grow under tension, and so does resilience. If you run from discomfort, you remain fragile. If you lean into it with intention, you become formidable. The same experience that weakens one person can empower another, and the deciding factor is whether pain becomes an excuse for limitation or the fuel for elevation. Así que recordar, radical responsibility is the moment you stop negotiating with reality and start owning your role in it. It is deeper than casual accountability. It is the uncompromising decision to accept that your life, as it stands today, is the result of accumulated choices, some conscious, some careless, some courageous, some fearful. Así que recordar, radical responsibility does not mean you are to blame for everything that has happened to you. It means you accept full authority over what happens next. Most people take partial responsibility. They own their successes, but outsource their failures. They celebrate wins as proof of talent, but label losses as bad luck. Radical responsibility eliminates that duality. It says, if it's in my life, I will confront it. It removes the luxury of excuses. It demands that you examine your habits, your standards, your discipline, and your reactions with brutal honesty. That level of self-confrontation is uncomfortable, but it is transformative. The turning point of any meaningful growth journey is not motivation, it is ownership. The instant you stop blaming the economy, your upbringing, your critics, or your circumstances, you reclaim your power. Complaining keeps you emotionally dependent. Ownership makes you strategically focused. When you accept that your responses, your effort, and your consistency are fully within your control, you stop waiting for rescue. Radical responsibility also elevates your standards. You no longer tolerate mediocrity in your routines or your mindset. You understand that every choice compounds. Every ignored discipline becomes a future regret. Every courageous action becomes future confidence. When you choose radical responsibility, you shift from being a passenger in your life to becoming the driver. Así que retarte, fully aware that direction, speed, and destination are determined by the decisions you are willing to make consistently. Urgency is the dividing line between intention and transformation. Many people say they want change, growth, success, or freedom. But they treat their lives as if there is unlimited time. They postpone decisions. They delay discipline. They wait for the right moment. That mentality keeps dreams permanently in the future. When life feels like it's on standby mode, you move without intensity, without focus, without commitment. Days blur together. Weeks disappear. Years pass quietly. The truth is simple and uncomfortable: time is not negotiable. Every hour you waste will never return. Every opportunity ignored creates distance between you and the life you claim to want. Urgency is not panic, it is clarity about the value of the present moment. It is understanding that your energy, your health, your creativity, and your opportunities are perishable. If you don't act on them now, they decay. Living with urgency sharpens your standards. It forces you to eliminate distractions that dilute your potential. It compels you to say no to mediocrity. It demands execution over excuses. When you understand that your life cannot remain on pause, your decisions become bolder. You stop tolerating environments that shrink you. You stop engaging in habits that weaken you. You stop having conversations that waste your focus. Urgency creates momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence fuels action. Asique quiero recordati, and action compounds into results. When you operate as if today truly matters, because it does, you align your behavior with your ambition. You begin to move with intention, speak with conviction, and act with discipline. The moment you embrace urgency is the moment you stop drifting through existence and start treating your life as a mission that requires decisive and immediate commitment.